Huge breaking news in the AI space. xAI, which is of course Elon Musk's AI company, has just raised $6 billion and become the second most valuable AI company in the world after OpenAI. This is a huge leapfrog over Anthropic. I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of interesting things today on the podcast. We're going to be covering everything going on with this deal, what they plan on doing with the money, which is shocking, who's giving them the money, and why they're making the argument that they are the world's second most valuable AI company. Let's get into all of it. So the first thing to know is obviously they made the big announcement on xAI announced this is their Series B round of funding. Interestingly enough, right after this big announcement that they have here, Elon Musk is immediately commenting underneath saying there's going to be more to announce in the coming weeks. He said that the pre-money valuation was $18 billion, so that gives them a $26 billion overall valuation. This is really fascinating. If you scroll down, all sorts of people, this is an Elon Musk parody account, are making funny jokes. This is an interesting meme a lot of people are sharing as well, which is, someone said, no, it's fine. I think 100% NVIDIA portfolio is a really reasonable bet. All I do is trust the numbers, and it's a picture of Michael Berry, of course, from the Big Short at his hedge fund on the phone. The reason why this is interesting is because immediately after this huge announcement, they also announced that they plan on using this money, this new $6 billion, a lot of it to buy H100 GPUs, which are going to come from NVIDIA, to build a mega data center, which they said is going to be open by fall of 2025. So in other news, trending on X, we have the headline, NVIDIA surpasses expectations, hits a $2.8 trillion market cap. So obviously, NVIDIA has been on a real tear lately as far as just like they surpassed expectations. They've been selling a ton. They've been doing really well. But if you look at their stock price just today, it's up 7%, which is insane. A 7% move on a company this big is huge. And so they're up 22% this week. 22% in the last 5 days. That is absolutely insane for a company that year to date or in the last year has risen 184%. This is just a massive spike we're seeing. It started with their earnings report, which did really well. And then this news of xAI really catapulted it because, they just raised $6 billion and a ton of that is just going to go straight to NVIDIA for H100. So it's kind of interesting. It's like anytime any of these AI companies are raising money, it's like inevitably helping NVIDIA. And then if you look at all the other like similar stocks, AMD, kind of anything in this space, they're going to be ripping as well. As far as this Series B round of funding, like I mentioned, it's $6 billion. They had a bunch of interesting people participating in this. They had Valor Equity Partners, they had Vi Capital, Andreessen Horowitz, which has been investing in everything Elon has been doing. They have Sequoia Capital, Fidelity Management, and Research Company. And then they also have Prince Alauddin bin Talal from Saudi Arabia, who has been putting money into this. And, it's kind of interesting because Elon has traditionally actually been quite friendly with many of the royal family and many of the sovereign wealth funds, the Saudi Arabia sovereign wealth funds and other places for his acquisition of not just X, but also investors in Tesla and all sorts of things. So this is really interesting that he's raising these funds right now. And people are saying, what exactly is xAI doing? Well, I think the news here is this is a very new company, so a lot of this is probably under development and in the works. I think a lot of people just trust Elon and his track record with SpaceX, Tesla, Neuralink, Starlink, all, the Boring Company, like a lot of big companies that have done very well. And so they're kind of piggybacking off of his successful track record to make xAI successful because up to date, it's not that it doesn't have any products, but it's not, it's not like OpenAI. And allegedly, it currently, if you're looking at by the numbers, it is, I think 25% the valuation of OpenAI. So some people are saying right now that this is currently the largest investment round. This is a record for Series A, B, or C rounds ever. It's 2 times the previous record holder, which Altos Labs back in 2021 raised $3 billion.
Articulate.
Raised $1.5 billion back in 2021, and Sierra Space raised $1.4 billion back in 2021. And if you notice the funding year, surprise, surprise, 2021 is literally the peak of the flaming hot market when interest rates were zero, and people were throwing money into startups like crazy. So to more than double the last funding record for a Series A, B, or C round, and doing it in 2024, which I know everyone's like, oh, AI's hyped up, and like there's a lot of like, excitement in the market about that. While that is true, the market is still quite a bit tougher than it was in 2021, even if you are an AI startup. So I think this is very, very interesting. If you're looking at Series A round, or I think, Series B rounds, Zynga, Dropbox, GitHub, you're looking at like 200, they're 300 million, 500, 250 million over, and that's all the way back to 2010. So they've really, really crushed the records. I think this is pretty impressive for what they've been able to do here. Now, are they worth the money? This is the $1 million question that a lot of people are asking. Is, xAI really worth this $20+ billion? What I will say is, of course, you have Grok, which is embedded into X, where you can ask it any questions. You can say, give me a summary about what's going on with, this or that news story. A couple valuable assets that are included. Number one is the distribution being directly embedded into x.com. Grok, their AI model, which is their competitor to ChatGPT, has a lot of distribution. It's got, hundreds of millions of active users. They can leverage that, and they are. But the thing is, Grok right now is only for premium user. I can only use it because I have a premium account. It's not for everyone, and so I think that if they really want this to be more used, they're going to need to make this free like ChatGPT is doing. The other big asset they have is not just the distribution, but also the ability to use the live data from X. So the number one feature that I think is important or is valuable on X, beyond just being able to chat with their chatbot, which is, I don't know, just like any other chatbot, is the trending page where you actually can see trending news. They have trending stories. And when you click on those trending stories, it gives you kind of a summary of them. So something that always has annoyed me is trying to like see a trending story and scroll through all the tweets and piece together what exactly is going, because different people are sharing different pieces of information about the story and giving their own commentary. So being able to just look right at the top of any trending story and have Grok give you an outline. It says, this story is a summary of posts on X and may evolve over time. Grok can make mistakes, verify its outputs. And then, I'm looking at one right now that says last updated 25 minutes ago. So what's interesting about this is as a story evolves, which so often happens, right? You have, this person said this, and now they're being investigated by the FBI, and then this thing happened. And like people are digging up information and tweeting it live on X. And I think that this is definitely going to be a big feature that it's used for. But I think there's a lot of other use cases that are important to look at as well. So I'll definitely be keeping you updated on everything happening with X. This $6 billion is obviously massive, super exciting to see everything going down with this. And if you enjoyed the episode today, make sure to subscribe over on YouTube or drop me a review